Welcome back to Watching Business Morning here on Channels Television. Now, Oxfam has found that a billionaire gained roughly $1.7 million for every $1 of new global wealth earned by a person in the bottom 90%. So when someone at the bottom 90% is earning $1, the billionaire is earning $1.7 million. And Oxfam also reports that billionaire fortunes are increasing every day, increasing by $2.7 billion. So why is the world still in poverty? Well, let's talk to Oxfam now. We have the country director, Dr. Vincent Ahosi, joining us from our Abuja studio to help us explain this and how we can make the most of these billions and millions of dollars that are flying around the 1% of the 1% globally. Good morning, Dr. Ahosi. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
So tell us first, what's the essence of this report? Why go into all of these details, finding out the billionaires and how much they're making and how much the lower cadre is making?
We did this work to be able to know what is happening in the world because we are very concerned about inequality. And the study clearly showed to us that not only are the super rich making so much money on daily basis, on hourly basis, on every minute, but the wealth creation that they are making is also accompanied with an extensive dragging of millions and millions of people into extreme poverty. Take, for example, in the last 2 years of COVID pandemic, as much as 42 trillion US dollars were created in wealth. And out of this, just 1%, the top 1% rich and super rich billionaires, they cornered $26 trillion out of that. The remaining 99% of human beings and individuals around the world were only able to get $16 trillion. And in Nigeria, for the past 2 years of the pandemic, the billionaires have actually increased their wealth by as much as a third. Now, what we have in Nigeria is a case where just 3 rich billionaires are now richer. If you put their wealth together, they are now richer than 83 million Nigerians at the bottom. This is extreme inequality. And out of the 6,355 Nigerians that we have that have as much wealth as $5 million or above, if you put them together, they are 1.4 times richer than 117 million Nigerians. This is extreme wealth. And this is a country where you know that the rich do not pay their fair tax of share. This is a country that only tracks about 12% of available tax available to it. This is a country with a GDP to tax ratio or tax to GDP ratio of just about 3.6%, which is the lowest in the world. The rich and super rich are not being taxed. It is only the poor people that are being taxed by way of one. They are the ones who are now bearing the brunt of the VAT that they are paying on food and services on a daily basis. So we have this myth in the past that when you give tax incentives and tax waivers to the very rich, that they will come back and they will be able to implement social services and social infrastructure that will be beneficial to the bottom 99%. It is not so. We have found out that over the past 40 years, tax cuts, tax waivers, and tax incentives only benefit the rich and the super rich. Pure and simple.
All right, Dr. Ahosi.
They are getting their...
So you also, in your reports, you are proposing that a tax of up to 5% on this group of people will raise $1.7 trillion. And of course, this will go a long way in lifting 2 billion people out of poverty. But how do we get this tax of 5% from them, is it ever possible to have equity?
It is very easy. One, we need to get to a point where we have the political will. The country cannot continue to go in this trajectory. The rich cannot continue to be richer, dragging millions of people into extreme poverty. Now, what we are trying to say is this. For those who are highly rich, who are super rich, all we need to do is make them, because they earn their income, one, not their incomes are, this is profiteering in a way. They earn their money from assets, from profits from their investment, from profits from their shares, and real estate and all that, and investment. Now, these are the same people who contribute, the top 1% contribute as much as double the carbon emission that the bottom 50% are contributing. So they are responsible for climate change more than you and I. An average billionaire, rich billionaire, pollutes the environment as in a million times way than me and you on the street. So we are asking them to pay for this. What are we asking them to do? During the COVID-19 pandemic, it became a windfall for the super rich. Now there is energy increase prices, there is food inflation and increase in price of food. Who are the people benefiting? It is the super rich. These are the people who own the shares. They are the owners of the conglomerates of food and energy. So we are asking them to take back to the community. We are saying that if we bring it back to Nigeria, for in case of Nigeria, just the 6,355 Nigerians that we have that have assets over $5 million US. If you put 2% tax on that, and for those who have over $50 million, you just put 3% tax. This is, you can call it solidarity tax. You can call it a one-off windfall tax. Then you now put another 5% on those who have over $1 billion. Nigeria will be making between $3.2 billion to $4.1 billion annually. That is just on annual wealth tax. So if you now go and say, okay, now we want a one-off tax, knowing fully well that this will not affect them, they make their money they can sleep in their bedrooms and they continue to make money. And they make it from the public purse, by the way. Because we are the ones paying, the common man on the street is the one paying for all the services, for all the goods. They are the ones who own this money that these rich people are holding today. But they are holding it at the expense of extreme poverty for majority, 99%. And those Nigerians that are just 6,355, who have so much wealth, they constitute just 0.003% of the population. And they have all the wealth. So what we are saying, for example, is if you now increase, let's have inheritance tax. We cannot continue to borrow money and will not have inheritance tax. Let's have property tax. Let's have capital gain tax. These are the things that will affect the rich, not increasing VAT. And when you have this money, you plug it back into social good. Let's have more spending on education. Let's have more spending on health. Let's have more spending on agriculture and social protection. This is the way to go. This is what Oxfam is saying. We have to stop tax waivers for the rich. In Nigeria, you see the Federal Inland Revenue Service giving tax waivers on one side. You see the Nigerian Customs Service giving tax waivers on the other side. These are tax waivers for the rich and the powerful. They call the FRS 1, they call it Road Infrastructure Tax Credit, believing that when these conglomerates and rich people come and construct road from point A to point B, that money they used to construct the road, they should take it out of their company income tax. When the president signed that Executive Order 007 in 2019, and we saw this as an innovation that will make these billionaires to bring in more money to construct roads that will be beneficial to the economy and to the people. Nigeria then, the annual budget deficit was just less than 2 trillion naira. But as of today, 2023, our budget deficit stands at over 10 trillion naira.
Actually, 11, Dr.
So what
Vincent.
is the use?
11,
and the roads are not better for it.
Yeah, more than 11 trillion deficit
Yes.
now, 11.04 trillion to be precise. But thank you so much, Oxfam, for that findings. I guess now we have the information, but what remains is, as you say, how do we get the rich and powerful to pay more tax? Whether it's inheritance tax or capital gains tax, you know, to spread the money. We always talk about increasing the tax nets, this time increasing the billionaires' nets, if that's possible at all. Well, we have to thank you so much for sharing your findings with us, Dr. Vincent Ahosi, Country Director with Oxfam International. And we'll see how you push this report and we get implementation of it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.